Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. Last year I did my top 5 favourite films of 2021 and I wanted to do something similar this year. But when I began making the list and writing the video, I realised just this year's been a complete banger for more than just movies. There's been some great TV and games too, and I didn't want to leave all those out. So I thought instead I'd just compile all of them into one list and do my top 5 favourite pieces of work of 2022. We're going to get started with Top Gun Maverick. I really struggled whether to place either Top Gun Maverick or Avatar: The Way of Water at number 5. I love both immensely and both are such big achievements in their craft, but after the recency bias kind of went away, when I had more time to stew on both films, I think Top Gun Maverick just nudges above Avatar: The Way of Water, which is really strange because before seeing this film, I really didn't have any hype for it at all. Tom Cruise is my favourite movie star, but I had no attachment or nostalgia at all for the first Top Gun. I only watched it once, like 3 years ago, and I didn't really remember anything that happened in it, and honestly, for the first 40 minutes to an hour, I really didn't know how I felt about Top Gun Maverick. It felt like the movie was taking itself very seriously, like it thought it was the most important film ever made. But when Maverick does the 2-minute run showing that the task that everyone is set can be done in the time limit, I was gripped and hooked. I know it's like a no-dirt statement, but doing things practically makes things so much more engaging, and that worked especially with all the flying scenes in Top Gun Maverick. By the end, I'd never been more tense watching a movie that year. More tense than any horror or thriller. You could feel the tension in the whole auditorium. Everyone was gripped by it. Similar to Avatar: The Way of Water, Top Gun Maverick strangely doesn't feel like a movie that even belongs in 2022. It feels like it's from an earlier era where the sole goal was to entertain, and this was one of the most entertaining films I'd seen in a minute. At number 4, I have God of War Ragnarok. Now, this might be a bit of a hot take, but I actually thought God of War 2018 was a bit overrated. Although I enjoyed my time with it, I thought games like Spider-Man, The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima were better, but I was still interested to see where Ragnarok would go, especially when they announced that this game would be wrapping up the Norse saga and that they were doing it in 2 games instead of the more conventional trilogy format. This game has an incredible opening, with them immediately introducing Thor and Odin to us, and having that extremely epic fight with Thor really got me engaged and ready to begin this journey. But after that, similar to Top Gun Maverick, the first few hours had me questioning where this was all going and if I was really that into it. Ironwood. But then strangely it hit a point, I couldn't even pinpoint what point, but I just got hooked, and it was all I thought about. All of my free time after work was spent on God of War Ragnarok. I just wanted to see how this thing was going to wrap up, and towards the end, I won't give too many spoilers, but I was ready to die for Kratos, man. Like, I was there. I really loved jumping into all these worlds and exploring them, especially seeing how Fimbulwinter was affecting all of them, which was really interesting. The performances all round were amazing. Kratos of course steals the show, but what they did with Odin really stood out to me. He wasn't just bigger, older Thor, he was this more Weasley guy, and he was fascinating and a fully 3D character. I found myself both empathizing for him, but also being standoffish, not knowing whether to trust him or not. I loved God of War Ragnarok in the end. Story, performances, gameplay, music were all top tier, and for that reason, it's number 4 on this list. At number 3, we have the final season, season 6 of Better Call Saul. So Breaking Bad is my favourite TV show ever, and it was the first show I ever binge watched back in 2013, shortly after it ended. When Better Call Saul was announced, I was worried it would potentially ruin Breaking Bad's great image, but I could not have been more wrong. What I love most about the show is that even though it's set in the world of Breaking Bad, it really is its own thing, and the evolution it takes is amazing. It starts as this quiet, almost comedic lawyer show, but over the course of the seasons, it's become this gripping, dark thriller that is more than on par with the quality of Breaking Bad, even exceeding it in some aspects, like its cinematography. The non-linear storytelling of this season, where parts took place before, during and after Breaking Bad, could have made for really messy storytelling, but it was executed so well. Bob Odenkirk, Rhea Seehorn deserve all the awards, along with the entire cast. Like Breaking Bad, all of the characters are fully fleshed out, each of them having a really tragic arc. You know Jimmy is going to become Saul, and that's sad on its own, but seeing Kim go from someone who really wanted to be a great lawyer, fall down this dark path and essentially ruin her own life is so sad to see, but it's so well written and so well made that you can't help but keep watching. This season was great, an incredibly bittersweet send-off to the world of Breaking Bad. It was an amazing watch from start to finish, and I genuinely don't know if there has been anything like it before. A 14-year journey with nothing but top-tier filmmaking in literally every aspect. At number 2, we have The Batman. This is everything I could have possibly asked for. First off, I love the new edgy Bruce Bruce Wayne. It's a complete reinvention of the character, and I love how this whole film embraces and indulges its dark gothic vibe. The Dark Knight trilogy was good, but Gotham very much felt just like Chicago. This feels like Gotham was ripped straight from the pages. The constant rain at night, lit by almost nothing but sodium vapor lights. On top of that, the film itself is shot with dirty, grimy lenses. Everything is contrasted and black. The film feels like it needs a shower. The sound design is also incredible. You feel every punch, every step Batman takes, every rev of the Batmobile, even just the sound of rain hitting surfaces. I loved the story. It was great to see the more detective aspect of Batman on screen. I love how Riddler was like Jigsaw from the Saw movies, and I loved the deep character study of Bruce Wayne. I think Robert Pattinson could genuinely be my favourite portrayal of Batman on film. I like that he's more of a shut-in, more of an introvert, more of an emo kind of guy. Because you would be. You dress up like a bat and you live in a cave, mate. Besides him, every character is super memorable. Jeffrey Wright's Commissioner Gordon, Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman, Paul Dano's The Riddler, and Colin Farrell's Penguin. I've watched this film 4 times now, and I plan on watching it many more times. And for that reason, The Batman is my favourite film of 2022. My number 1 spot was something I was looking forward to, but I had no idea that it would take the top spot, and that is House of the Dragon. I am a massive fan of Game of Thrones and the world of Westeros. I'm currently rereading Fire and Blood, which is the book that this show is based on. Since it had been 3 years since Game of Thrones ended, I think I just kind of forgot how much I loved this world. And at first with the time jumps, I wasn't sure how I felt, but I kind of settled into it as the show went on, and I think it worked great in the long run. I can't really see them doing it in season 2 with the story they're going to tell now, and I don't know if I can say that this is better than the first season of Game of Thrones, but it's more than on par with it. The characters in here, even though it's only been 10 episodes, are already so iconic. Rhaenyra, Daemon, Viserys, oh my god, give Paddy Considine all the awards. But also all the Hightowers, the villains. They don't just feel like Joffrey again, Ramsay Bolton again, in their own way. They're all three-dimensional in their own ways. Yeah, they do bad things, but you understand why they do them. The cinematography and music is just as good as Game of Thrones, if not better. House of the Dragon does have a huge benefit in that Game of Thrones really figured out what this world looked and sounded like, so House of the Dragon could just start with all the lessons that Game of Thrones learned. So right out the gate we're met with the production value that the later seasons of Game of Thrones had, but I was riveted by it. I got more and more invested with every episode, and I think the show just gets better and better as it goes on. And the fact that I now have to wait till 2024 for season 2 is just disgusting. Those were my 5 favourite things of 2022. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if this sort of new structure worked for you. And also, yeah, let me know of your top 5 as well. That could be all TV, movies, games, books, or a mix of all of it. Here's the 2023, hopefully bringing us just as good material. And I'll see you guys next time.